morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be listening to us. You've landed on the Guambai Podcast. The Guambai Podcast, Newfoundland's trivia podcast, is brought to you by the Dildo Brewing Company and Museum, located in beautiful downtown Dildo, home of the gorgeous Dildo sign in the fashion of the Hollywood sign, home of great beers like Dildo Lager and Stout Dildo. And I understand a session IPA coming out right now as well. So lots happening there. My name is Kevin George. I am here in London, Ontario, and I'm joined with my other brother.
Yeah, I'm your other brother, Darryl. And I'm here in beautiful downtown Whiteway.
Oh, downtown now.
Downtown.
So we're getting close to Christmas. Is it starting to get bright out there? Lots of lights around the bay? I'm missing all that up here in Ontario.
Oh, lights are up everywhere, my son. They're all over the place. Houses are decked out with all kinds of lights. You wouldn't believe.
Christmas trees.
And it appears that the new trend is white Christmas lights.
Okay, nice.
Seems to be the new thing.
Well, we got a great guest coming on, Mallory Johnson, and she might be able to sing White Christmas would be a great thing.
She's got a Christmas show coming up at the brewery soon, within the next week, and maybe we can request that song.
Perfect. I'll get you to request it. I won't be there, but you request it for me.
I will request it on your behalf.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, what do you got for me today? Like, what's the?
Well,
you must have something surprising.
You might think that it might be Christmas themed trivia, but it's not.
No, that's okay.
However, it is. It's something that I guess relates to Christmas. Something you do a lot of during Christmas.
Drinking.
Besides drinking.
Okay. What? Going to church.
And besides that too.
Well,
after you come back from church.
Eating. It's got to do with eating. Okay, all right. You see where my priorities are. Yeah, drinking, church, and you wouldn't say to look at me.
No, I'm thinking eating might be one of your favorite activities.
I think it is, actually. Yeah, I do love to eat.
Perfect. This is the Newfoundland GRUB version of the Guambai trivia.
Excellent. I'm going to love this.
Everything is themed around food.
Well, so basically, by the time we're done this, I'll be gut foundered and wanting to get back to Newfoundland and have a bit of proper food.
You will be. Well, you're coming soon. So
I'm coming soon. So.
This is going to get your palate all ready.
It'll be tasty.
This is going to be a tasty episode.
Now, you don't want me to break my neck with getting into this, so I know you always like to warm up. So what's the warm up?
I always do a warm up, a little off the beaten track with the main questions.
If it's anything like the last few, it's very far off the beaten track.
So this year it is, where's it at? So I got a Newfoundland place name for you. You got to tell me where's it at?
Where's it at? Okay.
So you ready?
Listen. Right now I'm visualizing the map of the entire province, both sections.
Good. Bacon Cove.
Oh, Bacon Cove. Bacon Cove.
You see what I did there, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you're doing the food thing, and now you're on to bacon. And yeah, that's very good. Let me see. Bacon Cove is in Fortune Bay.
There might be a Bacon Cove in Fortune Bay, but it's not the one. Not the one I got.
I'm making it up.
I don't think there's a Bacon Cove in Fortune Bay.
So where is this Bacon Cove that you've discovered?
It's in Conception Bay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Perhaps
I've never heard
there.
It. I might have been. But I can't imagine. Where
have you ever been to Conception Harbor?
Yes.
Well, Bacon Cove is a part of Conception Harbor.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! It's like downtown Conception Harbor, which is not very big.
No, it's more like, I think on the outer.
Okay,
area
so this would be
Harbor.
like,
it's an absolutely beautiful spot, and would have been considered, I think, its own community at one time. So now the thing about Bacon Cove, it's kind of well known in one way, because it's one of the areas in Conception Bay Center, is the area where Conception Harbor is located, where a lot of fishermen, after the failure and decline of the cod fishery in the early part of the last century, fishermen traveled to the northeast part of the United States, primarily Boston and New York, for work. And the immigrants, who were mostly from Bacon Cove and another little place right next to it called Cachusis. I don't know if you've ever heard tell of that before.
Never heard talk of that before either.
And I'll tell you, that is a beautiful spot at the far end of going out towards the water there. The Newfoundlanders from that area in Boston and New York, they ended up with a nickname. The steelworkers who built many of the skyscrapers of New York, for example, they had a nickname. I'll give you a multiple choice, but maybe you know it right off the top. Newfie Steelers, fish, sailors, or sizzlers?
I'll go with sizzlers because of the bacon.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know,
Oh,
man.
but I'm going to put one in
Yeah,
there.
but I love that. Sizzlers. That's what I want to be. If I'm up on the thing, I want to be a sizzler.
No, they were called fish.
Fish. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because they were from Newfoundland.
Yeah, they were and very, very well known. And and of course, even to this day, the connection between the steel workers of Conception Bay Center area, Conception Harbor, Maine, those places is huge. Probably have more steel workers per capita than perhaps anywhere else in Canada, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know if, again, you say you're not sure. I don't know if you've been to Conception Harbor or not. One of the main items in the community that gets lots of pictures taken of it is something in the harbor. Do you know what that is?
No.
No? It's the wreck of a whaling ship.
Okay.
Because of the decline of the whaling industry, several whalers were brought to the town and they were scuttled in 1959. In 68, the SS Charcot, I think I'm saying that right, ran aground near the town, and so there's a wreck still there, rusting wreck on the side of the harbor there.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that. Yeah,
many pictures taken of it. Another little tidbit on Bacon Cove before we leave it. Just recently, this year, some fossils were found in Bacon Cove that are, listen to this, 522 million years old.
Wow.
These were when multicellular organisms first developed.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now that I got you warmed up, you're probably getting a bit hungry. So let's throw a few food questions at you.
All I can smell now is bacon, right? Like that.
I'm going to give you a description. You tell me what the food is.
Okay.
This traditional Newfoundland food consists of a gelatinous bit of flesh.
Cod tongue.
It is indeed. Cod tongues.
Yeah.
Do you like cod tongues?
Loves them with britches.
With britches.
Yeah.
Can't say that I've ever eaten a britch.
What?
No.
This also doesn't surprise me.
Grandmother's pants, I think they used to call them too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The cod tongue. It's not actually the cod tongue, of course. It's the cod's throat, right?
Yeah.
Kevin, I'm sure you know that years ago, Newfoundlanders, of course, would go to the wharves and so on and collect cod tongues as a job for kids. That was one of your first jobs that you'd ever have, I suppose, would be cutting out cod tongues, right?
Yeah.
And apparently you'd get about 15 cents a pound for them. Just think about that. 15 cents a pound you'd get for them. The price today per pound in a supermarket here in Newfoundland, how much you think you're going to pay for 1 pound of cod tongues?
Oh, that's a good question because I don't see them in a grocery store here in Ontario.
That doesn't surprise me.
I would say, I don't know, Darryl, $7 a pound.
Yeah. Now, of course, this is going to vary depending on store, but I did a survey.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's in the range of $25 a pound.
Wow, man.
So it is a delicacy item for sure.
Now, not that that's going to show up on the Price is Right, but if it did, I would have been way under. See, that wouldn't have helped me a bit.
Mm-hmm. How about cooking them? How would you cook them? What would you do? I'd
roll them in flour and in a bit of egg, and I'd fry them in salt pork.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. The one that I've got here is toss it in milk, put it in flour, and then fry them in hot oil until they're browned on both sides. Yeah.
The best hot oil, of course, is that which comes off of fat back pork.
Sure. Absolutely. Speaking of fat back pork,
yes,
fish and brews.
Ooh, God, man, you're hitting all the biggies here.
Now, do you like that?
Oh, I love fisherman's. I like fisherman's brews better than fish and brews.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but I like them both.
So the fish and brews meal came about at a necessity. Fishermen needed a meal that, the ingredients that were readily at hand on their fishing voyages and so on when they were out for weeks and months at a time.
Sure.
What would be the ingredients in fish and brews?
So you got your salt pork.
Yes.
You got your hard bread.
Yes.
Purity is really good at making that. You got your potatoes and your salt fish.
Right on. That's it. Salt fish, salt pork, and hardtack.
Yeah.
And of course, potatoes are on the side.
Yes, of course. Unless you're having fisherman's brews, then it's all manged up.
Yes, I'm not fussy.
And you do that even I think the proper fisherman's brews is fresh fish and not saltfish.
Oh, really?
So I think they used to make that in the galley in the boat, like with the fresh fish. But
Okay. Do you know what what bruise refers to?
the soaked hard bread.
Yeah, it is.
But where does the reference come from? That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, apparently, urban legend at least has it. Bruise could be a corruption of bruised, right? And process of breaking up the hardtack into bite-sized chunks, but who knows, right?
Who knows?
It could just be an old Middle English word meaning broth made of bread,
Okay.
right? Vegetables and meat. So it could be that. What do you call the fried salt pork? That's a pretty easy one.
Scrunchions.
Yes, boy. You're going to get all these right.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking food here, right? You're talking to a man. Listen, never trust a skinny chef. And look at me, I can cook.
So, yeah, scrunchions, small salted fat back pork cut into small chunks. And I can taste them right now. And I could eat a bowl full of those for sure. Not very good for you, but
no.
Boy, does it ever taste good. Obviously, you know, sometimes you include dashes of pepper or a few spoonfuls of molasses on top of the brews as well, right?
God, yeah.
And as you mentioned, potatoes are sometimes put into the mix. Onions sometimes as well.
Oh, yes, onions.
And also boiled peas, steamed vegetables. Probably a more modern version of that. Maybe not the peas, but the steamed vegetables. I don't think we'd had a whole lot of that back in the day.
No, you know who does that a lot is the Portuguese with their bacalhau.
Oh, do they?
There's a great Portuguese restaurant here called the King of the Pigs. And saltfish is one of the things you got to pre-order it before you go to the restaurant, but they actually make it. They serve it with the potatoes and the steamed vegetables, carrots and turnips, sort of. But it's almost like home. It even has the fat back pork.
Okay.
The difference is the steamed vegetables.
Yes, right on. So yeah, and people might not realize this, but Fish and Brews was actually a breakfast meal for many fishermen. You know, give them a good hearty meal at the beginning of the day for the day ahead. Yeah. All right, got another one for you.
Okay.
Your mouth's gonna be watering after
already is.
This is a culinary dish consisting of fish, or other seafood, but here in Newfoundland is usually fish, minced or ground, mixed with a starchy ingredient. Here it's usually potatoes, fried until golden.
Fish cakes.
It's a fish cake. And I know you love fish cakes.
I love fish cakes.
And of course, in Newfoundland, fish cakes usually made out of leftovers, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's kind of the tradition that you take the leftover fish and so on, potatoes, and you make fish cakes out of them. Yeah. And fish cakes have turned into a bit of a fundraiser here in Newfoundland. A lot of
is that right?
Yeah, there's companies that make the fish cakes commercially, and then they sell them as fundraisers and stuff for different groups. But yeah, and we, of course, in our family, our mother used to make really good fish cakes. Fantastic. Although, sad to say, I'm not a fish cake
again. Not surprised.
So not surprised. And of course, the fish that we're talking about in Newfoundland is usually salted cod. Yes. Right. Now, instead of fish cakes, traditionally and in other places, often use parsley as one of the ingredients.
Yeah.
But we don't use parsley very often in Newfoundland. What do we use here in Newfoundland, Kevin?
Oh, Mount Sion savory.
We use savory instead. Yes.
Yes. And that's Newfoundland savory, which is different than anything. If I buy savory here in Ontario, it's not like Newfoundland savory.
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same.
Not the same at all.
Oh, okay. So sometimes onions are included as well. Is that what you're used to? Because maybe that's why I didn't eat fish cakes, because
it was the onions you wouldn't eat.
Yeah. Cakes are then they're round and cooked in oil and pork back fat till golden brown. You already answered the next question I had, which was, do you know where Newfoundlanders get most of their savory for their fish cakes? And you correctly said Mount Sion Farms. So let me ask you this question: if you know so much about savory from Mount Sion Farms, do you know
quite an expert.
You can savor this question if you want to. Nice. Do you know who started Mount Sion Farms, Mount Sion Savory Farm?
Say Joey Smallwood.
No, but he was a politician, and he was a politician for quite a long time. Elected 5 times in St. John's until 1989. Only passed away a few years ago. He was a very well-known St. John's resident. obviously, from the firm.
John Crosby.
Oh, you got the first name right. John Carter. I don't know if you.
Okay, yeah, I know the name. Yeah, I didn't know he started Mount Sile Farm though.
Yeah, he was cabinet minister back in the day. I'm sure back in the day you would have seen him on here now.
Yeah,
but, yeah, but not one of the more flamboyant ministers or anything like that. But he was well known because he was there for such a long time.
Okay.
Flipper Pie.
Oh, seal flipper pie.
I think we mentioned Flipper Pie in one episode about the movie about.
Oh yeah.
One of the movies. I can't remember which one it is now. But anyways, flipper pie, traditional Eastern Canadian meat pie made from, of course, seal flippers.
Yeah.
Besides the flippers, what is contained in flipper pie?
Well, as I remember having, I haven't had it now in a few years, but flipper pie is the flippers, again, likely some salt pork and a nice bread pastry over the top. Some people put the vegetables in the pie, like the potatoes and the carrots, but some people like to cook that separately and then serve it as a separate dish.
Okay. Well, the one that I have has vegetables, and in particular, onions, potatoes, carrots, and turnip.
Yeah, so they're baking it into the pie.
Right, in a thick sauce, and then covered with the pastry.
That'd be a proper seal flipper pie, I think. I think what we're used to is seal flippers cooked with a pastry on top, and then the vegetables like cooked separately, but that's not a proper seal flipper pie. I think what you've described is a proper seal flipper pie. Yeah, it's done like a shepherd's pie, like you'd have lamb and potatoes and carrots.
The seal meat that goes into this are described as tasting like these animals. Do you know which animals?
Rabbit.
Yes. Yeah. That's one.
Turs.
No, land animals.
Kevin. Oh, land animals. Sorry. Rabbit and grouse.
No, actually, and I don't know if I agree with this, but dark meat chicken.
No.
And duck.
Duck, maybe. I could see that. But chicken? No.
Okay. Seal meat is rich in this mineral.
Omega-3 fatty acids. I don't know.
Maybe. Apparently iron.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, it's like organ meat.
And this vitamin.
Oh, vitamin E?
A.
A.
It's high in iron and vitamin A. What else have I got here for you? Oh, peas pudding.
Oh, loves a peas
pudding. Do you like peas pudding?
I do.
Have I come across anything remotely something that you don't like?
When you find, if you can put something on there that I have not eaten, I will be shocked. But
so peas pudding you really like as well?
I do, yes, yeah. That
you
cabbage.
You also won't be surprised that I don't eat peas pudding.
No, I know, yeah.
What is peas pudding, Kevin?
It's boiled peas in a bag. It's basically split peas in a bed sheet or a piece of pillow.
Yeah, that's a lot of peas.
Yeah, that's a big peas pudding. Or you can boil it. You know, they make them out of pillow. What do they call pillowcases?
Oh, I don't know about that.
They do.
That's true. I agree with you on that one.
No, they cut pieces of the pillowcase. You make a little bag. You put the peas in. You boil them in the bag.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So boiled.
Yes.
Mashed.
Yes. Well, there's not much mashing to do if you do it right.
No. And seasoned yellow split peas.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Now there's a rhyme. You got to finish the rhyme for me.
Okay.
Peas pudding hot, peas pudding cold, peas pudding in the pot.
Peas pudding in a bowl.
No. I think I'm getting you back for some of those finish the lyrics things that you.
Yeah. What is it?
So it's peas pudding hot, peas pudding cold, peas pudding in the pot, 9 days old.
9 days old.
Some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in the pot, 9 days old.
Wow, that's a dandy rhyme you got there, Darryl.
You've never heard it before?
I don't think I have, no.
All right, here's the big one.
Okay.
You ready for the big one?
I'm ready for the big one.
Do you know what the big one is?
I've starved to death, to tell you, but
Jiggs Dinner.
Oh Lord, now what else you got for me here? Like, I mean, this is this is like Kevin's greatest hits.
I finally struck the sweet spot of your knowledge.
So what's funny is, you're living on the mainland for over 25 years. So I go home. Every time I go home, basically you're reciting the menu. If I go to all the houses of all the siblings, I can get almost every one of these dishes. If I time it right, I get them all. Okay,
All right,
so Jiggs
give
Dinner.
me Jiggs Dinner. Give me some other names for Jiggs Dinner.
Well, we would say boiled pot.
Yeah, good. Boiled dinner. Yeah.
Boiled dinner, boiled
Or
pot.
boiled pot. Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, I don't know. I think I've only ever heard it called Jiggs Dinner or
You
boiled
have heard it called Sunday dinner.
Sunday dinner. Yes, of course. Yeah, we would say Sunday dinner. Cook supper.
And
Cook supper.
Cook supper. We use. I don't have that here on the list, but we've used that. The one that I don't think I remember us saying will be salt meat dinner.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that. But we did say cook supper a lot. Well, what's your mom's cooking supper? Cook supper.
We did, yeah. What's the ingredients in a Jiggs dinner?
Salt beef.
Some type of salt meat, yeah.
And then your vegetables are going to be your parsnip and carrot and turnip and cabbage. And you're going to put your peas in in a bag you made from the bed sheets.
Yeah.
And you're going to make a peas pudding. And you're going to put in your potatoes last because you don't want those to boil apart. Yeah. And then the really last thing that you do if you're going to do it right is put some doughboys in if you want to have doughboys.
Really? Wow.
And so you do those. And I'm trying to think, is there something I could say now?
Doughboys go with
some people do doughboys with Jiggs Dinner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it wasn't big in our place. That wasn't the name.
No.
But
parsnip, you pretty much got it. You pretty much got everything for the Jiggs Dinner part, like the main thing. Of course, most places nowadays you throw in a chicken or a turkey to go with.
Well,
it,
for
right?
your meat, yes, in the oven, but the boiled pot. That's I'm giving you us in the pot.
And just for that extra little thing on the table, you're gonna have some sweet mustard pickles nearby,
yeah.
some
and
nice
some beets.
zest pickles, and some pickled beets. Yeah,
beets. Yeah.
And you have it.
I would prefer to have Jean's pickles, but from over in Shearstown, I would have those.
True. Yeah, that'd be more traditional. Yeah.
Yeah.
There also might be a pudding, like a peas pudding, blueberry
pudding,
or onion or an onion bread pudding.
Onion bread pudding, a Figgy Duff.
You know what Jiggs Dinner goes into Jiggs Dinner? Do you know where the name came from?
I feel like the name came from an Irish cartoon.
Wow, you read this somewhere.
I did, but it wasn't yesterday I read it. I have to say that.
Cool.
But I do remember reading something about an art. Now, it was a character named Jiggs or something like that. Was he called?
Man, you got it. You got it absolutely correct. Good job. 1913, actually, a popular Irish comic strip made its debut, and sometime later than that, it ended up, being in media publications here in Newfoundland.
Okay.
And the strip itself, which ran from 1913 all the way up to the year 2000, featured Jiggs and Maggie, an Irish-American couple.
Yes.
Jiggs' favorite meal was corned beef
and cabbage,
which became known as Jiggs Dinner. So this lovable, plucky Irishman had a thing for that dish. And obviously, soon our island here were eating it themselves, and we dubbed it Jiggs Dinner. But of course, corned beef wasn't something that was readily available, so we would substitute the corned beef, salt beef for the corned beef, right? So I have the nutritional facts for a Jiggs Dinner.
I don't think I want to know these.
Nutritional facts: Jiggs Dinner and peas pudding.
I'll stop you there to just say this is something I've never read.
You don't want to read it. Yeah. Serving size 1. Number of calories. Want to have a guess?
1 plate full of food, you mean?
1 serving size
of a Jiggs Dinner.
And I'm sure 1 serving size based on Canada Food Guide, I'm sure is nowhere close to what anybody
I will
say
1,800 calories.
No. 645.
Okay, well, that's reasonable.
Yeah, but that's a serving size, and I'm sure that's not very big. I'm sure that the average Newfoundland plate of Jiggs Dinner is probably about 10 serving sizes.
Piled up with everything you can fit on the plate there. Of course, I did want to add that at the right time of year, along with the cabbage, you can also have greens.
Yes, indeed. I had that up there in terms of that's like certain time of year when the greens are available.
As I was picturing the mountain on top of my plate, the mountain of food, what I call serving, I was picturing the greens on the very top. So.
Yeah, and one of my favorite foods of all time are greens for sure. Yeah. I'm just going to pick out one item. Now, I mean, it's high in everything. Fat, cholesterol, sodium, potassium, carbohydrates, fiber, sugar, protein, vitamin A, C, calcium, iron. It's all there.
Yeah.
However, just going to pick out sodium. One serving size, which, like I said, I don't think anybody stops at one serving size in Newfoundland, represents 84% of your sodium intake for a day.
I was going to say 120%, but.
So, Kevin, associated with Jiggs Dinner, there's a pudding, a raisin pudding. Do you know what we call a raisin pudding?
Raisin pudding is the Figgy Duff?
It is indeed Figgy Duff, which is a raisin pudding, or sometimes called raisin duff.
Yes.
The word figgy is an old Cornish term for raisin.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of Newfoundlanders come
Cornish.
Are Cornish, as well as, and a lot of Newfoundlanders are corny too, but they come from that area of southern England. And that probably indicates, the origin of this particular food, I guess, here in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
The ingredients in Figgy Duff. Want to take a stab at it?
Oh, well, you're going to have flour, raisins, sugar.
What kind of sugar?
Brown sugar.
Yes.
You're going to have, what else do you put in there? Molasses.
Yes.
And maybe some, I don't know. I feel like some people put spice in there, like maybe allspice or something.
Jeez, man, you got her. There's only one thing you haven't got listed so far.
Let me see. Well, you got water, of course. Water, flour. You're not talking water, I don't think. What am I missing?
Breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs. Yes. Yeah.
You mix it all together. You put it in a pudding bag, according to you.
You can make from a bed sheet.
Your parents' favorite. Wrapped in a cheesecloth. You stuff it into an empty can and you boil it.
Yeah.
Usually along with the vegetables in Jiggs Dinner. Figgy Duff, Kevin, is known for more than just the figgy pudding. It is also the name of one of our most famous and well-known traditional bands.
That's right. Figgy Duff. And I have to say that an upcoming guest on the GRUB podcast from Figgy Duff is Pamela Morgan. So she's confirmed they're going to be joining us. So
excellent.
Maybe we can find out just why they called themselves Figgy Duff.
So just one more little thing on Figgy Duff. One of the most famous cousins of Figgy Duff, relates to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Figgy pudding.
Bring us some figgy pudding.
Yeah.
Bring us some figgy pudding. Same time.
Figgy pudding was developed 16th century England, also known as Christmas pudding or plum pudding.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some dried fruit, plums, especially raisins thrown in there, right? So very similar to Figgy Duff. We got our meal done.
Yes. Okay. We've had some good food here so far this evening.
Dinner, we've had the Figgy Duff and so on.
Yeah.
A little bit of a side dish now.
Oh.
Toutons.
Oh, yes. Oh,
can you get a good Touton there in London, Ontario?
No. I've never eaten a Touton in Ontario, period. And I've been up here over 25 years.
No, you're not gonna get a good Touton up in Ontario. So the history of Toutons is sketchy. Did you know
that? I guess I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought that. I don't spend a lot of time at home going, where did the Touton come from?
Yeah, you wouldn't think it'd be a big deal. The earliest known use of the term only really dates back to 1805, apparently.
Okay.
And it, you're not gonna. It's the whole idea of Touton stuff is not that earth shattering. The idea of taking bread dough and tossing it in a grill and frying it up, I'm sure, has been done for a long time, right?
Yeah.
So it's an age-old culinary tradition here in Newfoundland, but also probably in many other places. But they are an awesome item, and we have them regularly in my house. We often have them on a Saturday as a side dish with your homemade soup. Oh
God, I'm dying here. And you know what's similar here is our First Nations communities make bannock.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, right. So that is similar. Yeah.
The
dough is usually flattened out, of course, in almost pancake style, but a little thicker than what we would, for pancakes. What do do we fry Toutons in?
Cast iron pan and a bit of fat pork or butter, depending on whatever you like.
We don't do that anymore.
We usually do the butter nowadays, don't we? Like a bit of butter or oil. Yeah.
Ready for some dessert?
I'm dying, man.
So here's something I'm sure you don't like at all.
Oh yeah.
Bakeapple Pie.
Oh, sweet Jesus. This is something else. This is a tour de force of everything I like to eat.
Are there any apples in a Bakeapple Pie, Kevin?
No, God, no, there's no apples in a Bakeapple Pie.
No, there's not. Of course
No,
not.
there's cloudberries.
There's cloudberries. Bake apples, of course, are
Yes.
cloudberries. Sweet, bright orange fruits filled with seeds.
Yes, and you've picked a lot of them over the years.
I have. Don't even like them, but I pick a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pastry dough, typically made from flour, salt, shortening, eggs, vinegar, and so on. So homemade. If you're looking at it, you can buy them in the store, or you can make them traditionally.
Yeah, they're almost as expensive as cod tongues.
The bake apples.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very expensive. I give away about 90% of what I pick. How many cups of bake apples go into a bake apple pie? There's your trivia question.
I would say 5 cups.
Well, the recipe that I have here says 2.
Oh, wow. See,
2 cups.
That's exorbitant. 5 cups. That's a lot of big apples.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's the kind of pie you would want to have.
That's my kind of pie. 4 inches thick.
So we're gonna end this portion with
I see what you did there. You used the word portion.
Yes, very much on purpose.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end with a bit of sweet tooth and a little bit of a shout out to our dearly loved father, peppermint knobs.
Oh my God! Did he ever love the peppermint knobs?
Peppermint knobs. Love the peppermint knobs. Do you like peppermint knobs?
I do. I can't have them anymore, but I do love them.
So, here's what I'll ask you. First of all, if I'm looking at nutritional facts from a peppermint knob, so 2 peppermint knobs, 2 pieces.
Yeah.
How many calories?
Well, it's all sugar. So I'm gonna say 2 peppermint knobs is probably 500 calories.
60.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna eat a bag when I get home tonight.
Yes. 12 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
And
in 2?
In 2.
Wow, that's shocking to me. Yeah.
So the only line on the nutritional facts that is marked is the carbohydrates. There's not another thing in that that's of any value to you at all. And neither is the sugar.
Neither is the sugar, really.
How much are you paying for a bag, 170 gram bag of peppermint knobs today?
Oh, this is another Price is Right question. I was way off on the cuts. I was way off on the cuts.
Don't go. If you go over, you've lost.
Can I bid $1? No, it's I'm gonna say one bag now is probably $4.79.
$3.47.
Oh, I was over.
But now with inflation, that might be gone up.
I can guarantee you that if I'm buying them in the Newfoundland store up here, I'm paying over $5 for a bag of them.
True, yeah.
In fact, I the local grocery store here carries Purity crackers, and I'm paying $6 a box for them.
Wow. If I researched this like 2 or 3 days ago, $3.47, that might be $4.47 by now. So that's it, Kevin. Are you filled up, my son?
I'm not full. I'm hungry now. This is wicked, is what this is. Every major food group Kevin likes.
There you go. That's your tour through traditional Newfoundland foods for your upcoming visit.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. And the other thing we're looking forward to, of course, is our great segment, World Famous in Newfoundland. Yeah, and we have a great guest. And as you've pointed out, somebody who's soon to be at the Dildo Brewing Company performing. But coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee is Mallory Johnson. So I think we should welcome her in. What do you say?
I said that's a great idea. Let's do it.
And for our segment of World Famous in Newfoundland, we've traveled all the way to Nashville, Tennessee, to welcome Mallory Johnson with us. Welcome to you.
Hello. I'm super pumped to be here. So thanks for having me on this. It's going to be probably more fun for you because I'm going to get all the questions wrong.
Darryl, introduce our guest properly.
Yeah. Hi, Mallory. Mallory is a Newfoundland, Canadian, and international country music artist. She grew up in an exceptionally musically inclined family, touring with her family's Celtic band when she was young. She won Newfoundland's Next Country Star and crossed paths and was mentored by none other than country legend Sammy Kershaw himself. Mallory teamed up with Twin Kennedy a little while back for Wise Woman in 2021, which snagged Music Video of the Year at the 2021 Music NL Awards, as well as the Fans' Choice Video of the Year Award at the 2022 East Coast Music Awards. Mallory is a 3-time East Coast Music Award winner, CCMA nominated, and 2022 Top 10 Artist for the prestigious SiriusXM Top of the Country competition. Her recent album, Surprise Party, soared to number 2 on iTunes country charts on its release in October and surpassed 100,000 streams in just 3 weeks. The Guambai podcast is thrilled and honored to have Mallory join us for a little Newfoundland trivia fun. Welcome, Mallory, to the Guambai podcast.
Woo-hoo!
Great to have you aboard.
That's awesome. That's quite the introduction. I need to take you guys everywhere.
We will go on the road with you in a minute. Darryl will do that everywhere you go.
I love it.
I'll be the opener.
Darryl, can you do that at the Bluebird Cafe? Can you give that introduction?
I will do it. No, but I will do it at the Dildo Brewery.
Okay.
Perfect. That's even better.
True enough. You again, you two are like celebrities in Dildo anyway, because Darryl hosts the trivia night at the Dildo Brewery, and you're there performing all the time. So tell us about you're very good at trivia, right? Like that's the word. That's the rumor I heard from the boys out in Dildo. Yeah.
Oh, I always win. You can't play. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. This is good because Darryl is in need of we'll get some Christmas music.
Is that me?
It might be. I like it though.
Oh my god. Wait, that was an accident.
That's us. I thought you were going to start playing from your Christmas album or something. But anyway, here we go. So the word out in Dildo is that you're gonna just obliterate Darryl here. So here, let me give you the categories before we get started. Okay. So here we got 5 categories for you to choose from today. CBS.
Yeah.
For those on the mainland, listen to this. CBS is not a TV channel or anything like that. It's Conception Bay South. It's a town. Mm-hmm. Okay. The East Coast Trail. You familiar with the East Coast Trail?
I am, although I'll admit I haven't walked on a lot of the East Coast Trail very much. But
I like to throw in a hiking question here and there because Darryl likes to hike. You know, surnames. Newfoundland surnames. You know some Newfoundland surnames, don't you, Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. Do you drink beer?
I drink the Dildo Surprise Party sours.
Oh, okay. All right. So
for my album.
All right. Good. Yeah. So Newfoundland and Labrador beers. Okay. So we got a question about Newfoundland and Labrador beers, and then a new category we started last month called Finish That Newfoundland Lyrics. So there's a piece of music from Newfoundland.
Okay.
You'll get a short clip. You get to finish it. Okay.
So I tried to do that already with Jingle Bell Rock.
Well, you did, yeah, but you got ahead of me. You got ahead of me.
Got ahead of you.
So I got to flip a coin, Mallory. Here we go. Heads or tails? You call it.
Tails.
Tails it is. So you get to go first.
Okay. I'm gonna go for the lyrics. Let's kick it off with a song. I'm gonna embarrass myself now, I'd say.
No, I don't think you are.
I've never gotten a lyric right in my life, so don't worry about me.
Oh man, have you seen this TikTok trend where people are like hanging off the side of a boat, and if they get the lyric wrong, they drop them in?
Oh no! Hope that's not Newfoundland, because that's rather cold. No,
it'd be freezing.
Now I think you're going to recognize this piece of music, Mallory.
Okay.
And we just need you to finish the next line that comes after the part you're going to hear.
Okay.
This is from a Celtic band from a while back in Newfoundland, family band, I would say.
Oh, the Cormiers, I'd say.
I don't watch the news, but I heard Daddy say the economy's broke, they can't fix it today.
I'll give my allowance $1 a day.
Right? And the next line? I'll give my allowance
$1 a day to keep them from moving away.
To keep them from moving away. That's absolutely correct. And Mallory, do you know the artist?
Well, that is the Cormiers, and that was me at 11 years old.
Correct.
Awesome.
I almost I haven't heard or sang that song in, I would say, at least a decade. Lucky I knew that line.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so Kevin, you're going to play one of my songs when I was 11, right?
Yeah. No, Darryl, this is a PG rated program. All right, Darryl, you ready for yours? Now, this piece here is by a very well-known current Newfoundland artist. And get ready, Mallory, because I got a funny feeling this is coming back to you.
Oh, yeah.
I want the bells in that white church ringing. My sister's speech after too much drinking. Something borrowed, something blue.
All right, Darryl.
Oh, come. Mallory, you see how this goes, right? Every
He's
single
set up
show,
for failure.
every single show is the same thing, right?
Never gets old either, I got to tell you.
I'm gonna have to pass, Kevin.
Okay, you can pass. Mallory, do you know the next line? You want to hear it again?
Oh, I know it.
Okay, go for it.
Tin cans tied to the back of a Buick. One of these days, I just might do it.
Oh, I think it would be better if you sang it.
Tin cans tied to the back of a Buick. One of these days, I just might do it.
That's exactly right. How did you know? Again, do you know the artist?
I heard she's not very nice.
Oh, she's
I'm just kidding. That's me.
She's awesome. Well, that was fun. Thank you very much. That's 2-0 for Mallory over Darryl.
It was really cool to hear literally like my first recorded song ever back to back with one of my latest songs and just hear the difference like that. That was wild. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, we should let Darryl pick a category now because we were a little rough on him there. So, Darryl, you got Newfoundland and Labrador beers. We got your East Coast Trail, Newfoundland surnames, or CBS.
Well, I got to try for a comeback here anyway. So I am a bit into geography. So let's go with CBS.
The Town of Conception Bay South Summer Festival happens each year in July. The week-long summer festival is filled with folk, family, and fun, and showcases amazing talent and culture from all around the region. I'd be shocked if at some point Mallory wasn't there. This is a highly anticipated, popular event for the community and for summer tourists who like to go to the area. It kicks off with a top-level attraction that brings people from far and wide. Darryl, what event gathers folks at
Nugent's Field?
Yeah, Nugent's Field.
Nugent's area?
Nugent's Field, yeah, kicks off the CBS Summer Festival every year with this big event, Darryl.
In Nugent's Field?
At Nugent's Field.
Which of the communities is Nugent's Field in?
Oh, I can't tell you that. I'd have to give away the answer. No.
Because I've got an inkling of what.
Well, come on. I think you might be right. Go with your gut, Darryl.
I'm gonna go with the Kelligrews Soiree.
You'll be absolutely right, Darryl. Fantastic.
And is Nugent's Field in Kelligrews?
Mallory would have to know. I don't know.
Oh, see, no, this is a geography question. I said I'm not doing geography questions.
Okay. No. Well, this is a little bit like geography.
I'm in Topsail. I'm not in Kelligrews.
Okay. So here's your question, Mallory. Conception Bay South was formed in 1973. You weren't around then, but me and Darryl were. I don't remember. Darryl might, though, because he was already like Alex P. Keaton on Family Ties by that time. That also might be a reference you don't get because we're old. But anyway.
Although his sister's name was Mallory.
That's true. His sister's Alex P. Keaton's sister's name was Mallory. Very good, Darryl. Yeah. It was an amalgamation of 9 communities, Mallory. Now, it wouldn't be right for me to ask you all 9 communities. So I'm going to ask you to name 4 of the 9 communities that are in CBS.
Okay. I'm going to say Topsail, Manuels, Chamberlains, Kelligrews.
Very good. That's 4. Want to keep going?
Nope.
Darryl, you want to pick up where she left off?
Seal Cove.
Yeah.
Foxtrap.
Yeah.
How many do we have now?
Let me see. You said Topsail, Chamberlains, Manuels, Kelligrews, Foxtrap, Seal Cove. So there's 3 left, I think. Long
Pond.
Yeah, or 4 left, right? Long Pond.
Gee.
St. Peter's Church, I believe, is in this community. Going back to I think a church is in the community.
Oh, Upper Gullies.
Upper Gullies. See, I knew if I appealed to church, Darryl would know what I was talking about. But there's one more, which is harder to. I wouldn't have guessed this one, which is Lawrence Pond.
I would have never gotten that.
Me.
No.
I've heard of it, but I never would have thought that was a community.
Would have never known. All right. Back to Mallory to choose a category. We have the East Coast Trail, surnames, and Newfoundland and Labrador beers.
Let's go for beer.
All right, beer it is. So Mallory, this is a sour ale. that was aged on 2022 fresh picked partridge berries. A small amount of vanilla was added to help round out the tart, zippy, sour ale. The beer pours a deep pink rose color obtained from those intensely beautiful Newfoundland partridge berries. The base beer is brewed and fermented at 5.5% to stand up to the deep puckering flavor of the partridge berry. Not a surprise, this fruited beer with an ABV of 5.5% is delicious and delightful and almost musical. What drink am I drinking when I describe this to you, Mallory? Which beer is this and who brewed it?
Well, is there a mermaid on the can?
There might be.
I know that's well, it's the Mallory Johnson Surprise Party Sour, and
That's
it's
right.
Dildo Brewing Company and Museum.
That's right. The Dildo Brewing Company and Museum, Dildo Brewing Company and Museum, sponsor of the Guambai podcast. And I hope they still have one of those there for when I get there in January so I can try it. And I understand
They better have more than one.
They
'cause
better
I'm
have more than
coming
one.
back.
Okay, good.
Yeah. They better have it on tap still.
Good spot for me to pause and say, because you can scan the QR code on that can and get all the information about this great album release you had that Darryl talked about earlier. So tell us about how that's going.
It's going awesome. I have been having so much fun. We had the big album release in Newfoundland and then toured the province and then had the big closing party at Dildo Brewing Company. So it was really awesome to celebrate that album at home. And there's definitely a few more surprises up my sleeve for that project. So
Okay. Well, you can break the news here if you like. Like, I mean, our tens of listeners will keep it quiet.
Well, it does involve, if anyone knows what my brother does as his profession, it involves my brother, Cecil Johnson. So if anyone is listening and knows what Cecil does, it's involves him. So
Okay.
that's a pretty big hint. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we got to just to send a note out if you're listening, research department. Can you get back to me in my ear here about what Cecil's up to nowadays? Okay. Darryl gets a question about beer as well. What is the top selling craft beer right at this moment in Newfoundland, Darryl? And who's brewing it?
Well, I hope it's the Dildo Brewing Company.
Okay, but I need to know which beer.
Don't know, but that was the first part. I'm just confirming that part first.
Well, I'm not confirming anything. I'm going to wait till you give me a full answer.
You get 2 chances to get it wrong.
So I'm going to say it's the Dildo Brewing Company's Dildo Lager.
Ooh, well, that's a good choice, and they would love it if that was the number one selling beer, but it's not. Do you have a guess, Mallory?
I have no idea. I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a surprise party sour.
So what if I give you multiple guesses, Mallory?
I don't even want to guess.
I'll give the multiple guests, and Darryl can pitch in too if he knows it. So here's 3 choices.
Okay.
Blue-Eyed Boy, brewed by the Dildo Brewing Company, St. John Stout, brewed by Yellow Belly, or Day Boil by Kitty Vitty.
It's Day Boil.
It's Day Boil. You're right. Yeah, that's what it is. But we believe, and I think there's a session IPA just released from the Dildo Brewing Company, which is what Day Boil is. And so we here at the Guambai podcast and our guest on World Famous in Newfoundland, we believe that that's soon to be the best-selling beer in Newfoundland, Labrador, because they're coming up. Okay. So, Darryl, you're choosing now between Surnames and the East Coast Trail.
I don't know. Let's try East Coast Trail. Go for a hike.
Okay, let's go for
After we had a beer, we'll go for a hike.
That's right. Good beer. Go for a hike. We've had some great music. This is like a full-on Newfoundland excursion around the bay. So here we go. From Bay Bulls to Witless Bay, Darryl, this 7.34 kilometer walk, which is a part of that East Coast Trail, is easy to moderate. Takes 2 to 4 hours. The terrain varies from woods to meadows to cliffs. The seabird islands of the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve, such as Gull Island and PP Island, can be seen. That reserve contains, of course, North America's largest Atlantic puffin colony and the world's 2nd largest colony of Leach's storm petrels. There's some redstone cliffs and views of the coves and steep sea stacks and gulches. What's the name of the trail, Darryl? Or that section up the trail?
I have no idea.
Amazing.
From Witless Bay to
From
Bay
Witless Bay to Bay Bulls, yeah. 7 kilometers, 4.5 miles.
Haven't walked it. Don't know.
Okay. So do you know, Mallory? Have you walked it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
No.
So this one is this is a tall. I should have had multiple guests for Darryl on this, to be fair. I should have put in 3 of them and they could pick one, but it's Mickeline's Path.
Okay.
Mickeline's
remember
Path.
that.
Never heard of it.
Well, we're going to see if you remember this, because this is your East Coast Trail question. Longshore Path is 17.2 kilometers, decidedly a longer walk. Moderate to difficult path. It takes 6 to 8 hours to hike this trail. With Portugal Cove on one end, it passes through St. Thomas, St. Phillips, and Beachy Cove. Which CBS landmark is on the other side of the path from Portugal Cove? Where does it begin in CBS?
I know one starts at Topsail Beach. I don't know where that ends, though.
Bingo,
that
bango. That's it. You got it right.
Yes.
Good
was
for
a
you.
good
You're
guess.
killing this, Mallory. You don't get any of these wrong. I don't understand this. I got to come up with tougher questions. Hey, Darryl?
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're tough enough for me, Kevin.
Okay, so Mallory, we've only got the one category left, and that's surnames. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So here it is. This surname is the 267th most popular surname in Canada, but it's the #1 surname in Newfoundland and Labrador. And I'm going to give you multiple guess. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the #1 in Newfoundland and Labrador, 267th in Canada. Is it Cherwick, as in the guys who started the Cuba Sonics in Newfoundland, if you're familiar with them?
Yeah.
Is it Johnson, as in Mallory Johnson? Power, as in Tom Power? Or Majumner, as in Sean Majumner?
It's Power.
It's Power. You're correct. And let me ask Mallory, where do you figure Johnson is on that list?
I don't know if it's super high on the list. I don't think it would be that popular.
Well, would you
I
believe
think
it?
we're close to Power or Parsons.
No, it's not. But
Yeah.
would you believe in Canada is the 9th most popular surname?
Oh, that's cool.
In Newfoundland, it's the 106th.
Mm-hmm.
So
What about George?
we'll get to that.
Yours
right,
is the
Darryl.
next question.
Yours is coming now, Darryl. Okay,
Yeah.
Just stay patient. Of these colors, Darryl, which one is in the top 3 of Newfoundland surnames? Green, rose, brown, or white? Top 3.
Geez, could be all of them. I'll go with Brown.
Brown is the 2nd most popular name in Canada, believe it or not,
Yeah.
but 14th in Newfoundland. What do you
Okay.
think, Mallory? It wasn't brown. So it's green, rose, or white.
I'm going to say it's white.
You are absolutely correct. It's the 3rd most popular name in Newfoundland and the 14th in Canada. Green, by the way, is 75th in Canada, 33rd in Newfoundland, and rose is 31st most popular name in Newfoundland and 204th in Canada. And Darryl, George, where would you say George ranks in the whole list of names in Newfoundland?
In Newfoundland,
Yeah.
I'd say it's somewhere around 189th.
Ooh, no, that's about double.
Oh.
91st in Newfoundland, 313th in Canada.
Yeah.
So-
Not many of us, but we're
Not
very
many
unique.
of us. I was going to put black in as one of the color options, but black doesn't even rank in the top 500 in Newfoundland, oddly enough. So
Oh, wow. Interesting.
However, on Days of Our Lives, it's very popular.
very popular on Days of Our Lives. Anyway, listen, I just did some quick math. I believe Mallory won 8-0 or something like that.
It wasn't even close. It wasn't even
fair.
close.
It
To be
wasn't even-
fair, I had very easy questions.
Oh, I wouldn't say easy, but they were tailored. Darryl didn't get his music question. And that wasn't hard.
That was also tailored to me.
No,
though.
come on. But I've been listening to that now. It's like a da 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 da. I'm all over that now. So it's like, yeah. Well, listen, we can't thank you enough. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Enjoy your time back in Newfoundland, and say hello to Darryl for me when you get there, because he'll be up listening
I
to you at the
will.
brewery.
I will.
And best of luck with everything. Thanks for doing it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. And now I'm
you.
not so scared of trivia. So this is great.
Well, Darryl, Mallory Johnson, absolutely incredible. What good company and an incredible guest.
Oh, yeah. That was a lot of fun, Kevin. That was great fun, and had a few good laughs there. And
Yeah.
she did really good with the trivia, I must say.
She
And
did
I
too.
did not.
And I have to say, I'm disappointed because she's going to be there, and I'm not going to be there till January. So you will get to see her perform up at the brewery very soon. And
Well, she's going to be there, and I'm going to be there, and we're going to have a great night.
That's right. Well, don't forget to request White Christmas for me.
I will. I'll request it for sure.
Okay. So now, all right. So I know you're going to give me the lightning round. And if it's about food, I'm going to die because I like to savor every thought. So what's the lightning round?
Well, Kevin, sorry, boy. We're going to keep the food theme going. And
Okay.
probably 9 out of the 10 questions are on restaurants or
Okay.
fast food outlets. But anyway, 10 questions still on food.
I am ready, buddy. Bring it. Jimmy, let's call out to our sound technician. Jimmy, start the timer.
Here we go. On what street is Purity Factories located in St. John's?
Bannerman Road.
Black Marsh Road.
Black Marsh Road.
Originally, it was located on Water Street. Don't know if you knew that.
Didn't.
How many Tim Hortons outlets are there in Newfoundland? 19, 33, 52, or 105?
105.
52. Yeah. And what street was the first Tim Hortons in Newfoundland located? Where
Came out
was
Road.
It was. What year did that particular Tim Hortons store open?
1982.
Ooh, little high. 1977.
Oh.
Also in 1977, the first McDonald's opened in Newfoundland. Do you know what road that one was on?
Came out Road.
No, it was the one over on Topsail Road. Jeremy Charles is an executive chef at this St. John's fine dining restaurant.
I'll say Hotel Newfoundland Restaurant.
Raymond's. Top Chef Canada contestant Todd Perrin operates this popular restaurant in Kitty Vitty Village in St. John's. You know the name of it?
The Mallard?
Mallard Cottage. You got it.
Yeah.
According to TripAdvisor, this St. John's pub has the best fish and chips offerings. Which pub?
Jeez, I know the answer to this. I'm dying here. It's right in that little alley.
It's one of the most well-known pubs. in
Yeah, it
St.
is
John's.
too. So I don't know, Darryl. What is it?
The Duke of
The
Dublin.
Duke of Dut. Okay.
This well-known high-end Newfoundland, Labrador, and international restaurant is considered to be one of the world's most remote restaurants.
Foco Island Inn.
Yes. And finally, what year did Brown's Restaurant in Whiteway open?
Oh boy, that is a good question. The restaurant. I'll say 1986.
The restaurant opened in 1994. The chip truck opened in 1991.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So it was a little later than I would have thought.
Yeah. So you did really, really well on the food questions. I think
Not so good on the questions than the
I
other.
got you. They were a bit tough, and
Not the Duke though. The Duke was obvious. I just couldn't pull it out of my head.
Yeah, you knew the place.
I've had the fish and chips at the Duke. It's fantastic. All right, so Darryl, this has been a tour de force of food. I'm gut foundered. I can't wait to get to Newfoundland and eat some good grub. We had an incredible guest with Mallory Johnson, who is a great friend to the brewery, of course, and the brewery being a great friend to us and being the sponsor. So we're thankful to them and to Mallory and to you, Darryl, for these great questions and for making me mouth water like it is here now. And we're looking forward to doing this again sometime soon. And I guess there's not much left to say, Darryl, except
Go on by.